Yes, this is Talk, and this is the segment you've all been waiting for.
Yeah, man.
It's Call Dr. Roger. Okay, Dr. Roger is joined tonight by his new PA, who is Anna McGovern. She's also been given that headset, which...
The Madonna headset.
Roger said, do I have to wear this headset? We went, yes, you literally have to wear the headset. If you don't have... He's like that woman, you know, from like the Churchill insurance advert.
No, Lieutenant Uhuru from the Starship Enterprise.
Lieutenant Uhuru.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so... if you want to ask Roger any questions, you can. 0344 499 1000. He's happy to be an agony uncle. He can talk about finance. He won't, but he can. And he'd talk about legal stuff. He won't either. But okay, 0344 499 1000. The McGovern will be taking notes, whereas the Gewolb will be answering the questions. Cindy is in Michigan, USA. You are through to Dr. Roger.
Hello,
Dr.
Cindy.
Roger, how are you?
Very well. Nice to hear from you again. What can I do for you?
Thank you. I wanted to piggyback on what you said about leads, okay? This is very, very important. What they were doing last night, because we know here, as you know in America, we know about riots, okay? They were trying to establish that this is their area, they have the upper hand, and they rule it. The police or the military need to get it together, because if they don't demonstrate a presence and the rule of law, things are not going to go well.
That's what I was just...
They need to get in there. Yes.
That's what I was saying. Anna's taking notes, yes.
Oh, yes.
Anna,
very detailed notes.
Very important, yeah. That's what I was just... That's what I was just saying, Cindy.
It is very important, because they're going to... if the police or the military don't get in there, they're going to lose
Yeah, but they will get in there. If it happens again, they will get in there. But Dr. Roger,
now
it's over to you.
If the police are chased away as they were last night, that's why I'm saying you need to bring the military in there. You heard other people in this studio, and you heard Ben Harris-Quinney more or less disagree with that. But
we just have police that don't run away.
I think the rule of law needs to be imposed, as you've just said, Cindy.
Yes.
And if the police can't do it, they need to bring the army in and lay the law down.
To show how it's done. Yes, correct. Because
but the police used to do it.
It doesn't matter what they used to do, Ash. It's what's happening now. They need to bring the army in.
It never used to happen.
Other communities are watching, okay? They are watching what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
They are watching. We don't want this to spread. It can be dangerous.
Yeah, definitely.
So military or the police, wake up now.
Thank you. You're absolutely right.
Next call.
Thank you for your call, Cindy. Next, we've got Paula in Halifax.
Can you just look at the other camera?
Just look at that camera.
That one there. Just
we've
tilt
got Paula in Halifax.
Paula, you're through to Dr. Roger. Away you go.
Hi, Ash. You okay?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad.
What can I do for you, Paula?
Got the pleasantries over.
Right, no, I was speaking to Ash then. Sorry, Roger. You know what? I was going to ask you, who is the most famous person you've met?
Dr. Roger, it's over to you. Who is the most famous person you've ever met?
Oh, gosh.
Don't know him.
Probably, I suppose Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Really?
And you met Muhammad Ali on a regular basis down the newsagents.
Yeah. But I suppose Trump is now probably the most recognized person on the planet, and I know him. Yeah.
And what do you think about Trump?
I think he's the hero that America and the world needs at this point.
You can look at the other camera now. Anna, who's the most famous person you've ever met?
So Prince William. Well, yeah.
Prince William.
In his childhood home. It was a couple of years ago. I was receiving a reward.
I met the Queen and the late Queen, and I've met the King.
Have you, Roger?
Yeah, I was actually presented.
You never mentioned that you're saying the Queen's much more famous than Trump.
I was presented to the Queen. Yeah, I suppose so.
What were you presented as the Queen as? Dinner.
He was the Gewolb.
Importance right down.
The Gewolb was presented to the Queen on a platter with an orange in his mouth, like that, and she ate sushi off his testicles. That is not
Suckling Roger. Suckling Roger. That's what it's. Thanks, Paula. That's
Thank
another
you, Paula.
satisfied customer. The next caller, we're just getting them ready and made up. So, yeah, Roger, how are you finding this new section?
Wonderful, fantastic. I really like helping people, and it's great talking to all these folks.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I'll tell you what we've got.
Hold on, Roger.
No, I'll tell you what we've got. We've got a very minor tech fault. Why don't we go for an early bath on the break?
No, we've got Tristan. Southend-on-Sea. Tristan, you're through to Roger. What's your question to Roger?
Hello, Roger. Good evening. I wonder just if you'd be interested in some information I've got.
To Roger.
There's a video circulating tonight on social media, and it shows that there has finally been one single arrest in Hare Hills, Leeds. It seems to be that it's one white British woman, which is not going to go down well with the people of the country. And the problem is she was sticking up to the crowd. She was basically standing up for her area. So I don't get why people come from overseas, because their country is so bad, to come here only to try and convert this country into the one they've just left.
So what's your question?
Look at the other camera, please, Roger.
What's your question?
Move your head a little
Well,
bit.
my question is simply, as I say, it's two factors. Firstly, why is it always the underdog that gets arrested in this country? And secondly, why is it that people come here to change our country to their country? That's what I'd like to know.
Well,
over to you.
I don't know the answers to those exactly, but I would say it's not always the underdog that gets arrested, but it sure looks like that's happening a lot more these days. And I suppose the answer is that things are becoming much more polarized, and I think police work is probably much more difficult. And with political correctness and wokeness out there, it's probably much more difficult to be a copper today, whereas before it was probably a much clearer decision. And I think the police need more guidance. And as our caller Cindy just said, in a situation like last night, bring in the army and show them how the rule of law is enforced and how it's done. As to your second question, why do people come here and to paraphrase, behave in that way? It's because they don't know any better, and nobody's instructing them, and particularly if they're illegal immigrants who have managed to get in, there's nobody who's going to help them to see the right way to act and to see how to be part of a community. And the more this happens, the more it gets out of hand.
Yeah, absolutely. But
are you satisfied with those answers, Tristan?
I would just add to that before you go to your break. It's definitely two-tier policing. Absolutely, because you only have to look at the situation in London with the protests.
The underdogs and the overdogs.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
You never hear about
it's going to have to change. It can't go on like this for very much longer.
Thanks, Tristan.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Let's go to Dominic.
Dominic.
Other camera, Roger. Look at the other one, Roger. Dominic in Nottingham.
Yes, hello.
Are you taking notes?
Hello.
Very detailed notes.
Hello, Dominic.
How much are your 4 pages?
How are you doing? I love talking to you. I love listening to you anyway. Oh, it's an absolute disgrace.
Well, hold on, Dominic. You're through to Roger. What's your question to Roger?
You are, Roger. Well, I'm saying it's a disgrace what's going on for the minute. The fucking, I was speaking language. The police.
Language.
I mean, what happened to the tear gas and the riot shields and the water cannons?
Well, the actual people to even operate them.
Yeah, but listen, police years ago used to be a good hiding.
I know.
Now they're running off.
I mean, you
pathetic.
You ask a really good question. I mean, why in the world, in a scene like last night, wasn't there somebody there with a canister of tear gas?
They can handle Leeds Football Club, which is some of the roughest fans there are, aren't there? Leeds Football.
But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Of course it is.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the running off it's laughable. I'm sorry. I was watching it. I was thinking, what in there? Well, I'm not. I was watching on YouTube, looking watching videos, thinking, hang on a minute. Years ago, the they give you an absolute pasty.
They'd be running towards you, not running away.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It's absolute laughable.
Why there wasn't a single canister of tear gas?
Yes.
Is beyond belief. I mean, I think somebody needs to.
There wasn't
answer
even a
that
policeman there
question.
to throw the can of tear gas.
You know what it boils down to? Weak leadership. These politicians in this country are pathetic. They're the most weak, pathetic people that's ever been.
I can't. Honestly, I can't disagree with that.
Are you satisfied, Dominic? Are you satisfied with Roger?
Yeah, Roger's. I like Roger. I listen to him all the time. He's great.
Thank you. That's a satisfied customer. Let's go. Paul in Cheshire.
Okay.
Paul, you're through to Roger. Away you go.
Hi, Roger.
Hello.
Hi, Andre. And hi, the lady, taxi lady.
Hello, lady.
I'm not a lady.
Lady and gentlemen. No,
hello to Andre. Hello to Stop. Hello to Andre. Hello to Ash. Hello to Dr. Roger. Hello, lady. I mean, it's lucky sexism isn't there.
Guys, this is Dr. Roger's hotline. Let me have a few minutes with these nice people, will you please?
Sorry, Andre. Sorry, Ash.
Go ahead, please. What's your question?
My question is, I think it starts with the Leeds riots at home with the mothers to give power to the daughters. You know what I mean? To give power to the daughters, stand up to the men. You know what I mean? To the men who are kind of, you know what I mean?
You would send in the mothers and daughters to quell the riots.
The father. But no, I blame the fathers. I blame the fathers, but the fathers got to teach the sons right.
But do you remember when the matriarch was like Hattie Jakes, and if she come at you with a rolling pin, you would give up and go back home, wouldn't you?
The mum's got to stand up to the fathers. The mother's got to stand up to the husbands.
Did your mother ever come at you with a rolling pin?
Yeah. Well, stood up to my father, yeah.
Dr. Roger, what do you say about that?
I haven't got much to say.
You've stumped him.
No, I'm not stumped.
You've got to your hotline.
Anyway.
The patriarch is the main thing. The patriarch, John B. Pearson is wrong.
You just said
patriarch exists, and it's the hardest thing to do.
Scribbled on a sixpence. Roger?
Okay. So do you have another question?
Yeah, thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Roger, can you take us to a break, Roger? The camera. And take us to the break, Roger.
All right, we're going to take a short break now, but we'll see you with Dr. Roger's hotline.
No, we won't.
We won't.
Hello, this is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. I'll tell you what, Anna, let's just admit this. I was going to give you my earphones because yours are not working properly, are they? Okay.
It was my first day on the job.
What we'll do is, well, you're not on the job, are you? I mean, you're
the assistant.
Okay, so I can hear what goes on in the studio, but I can't hear the callers, which doesn't really matter. We're going to stay with Call Dr. Roger, even though I said we weren't going to do that. Paul is in Leeds. Paul, you're through to Dr. Roger Gewald.
Hello, Paul.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Roger's hotline. How are you, my friend?
Very well. How are you?
Great. Well, I'm not too chuffed about all this advert going on in the cities, or big cities, should I say.
Yeah.
Not just Leeds. It's not just Leeds area. Can I just remind Ash as well, Birmingham riots, we're going back to the 80s, 70s. Ash is right. It's definitely unrest, and it needs law and order. And where is the law and order when you need it? Nowhere.
That's right. That's
it's
right.
a rack to a bull, isn't it? Friday night, Thursday night is a rag to a bull.
Yeah.
And then look at Toxteth flights. Look at Liverpool.
So what's your question?
My question is, you can't bring the truth, surely not, onto the streets of the United Kingdom. Do you remember Northern Ireland?
So what's the question?
The question is,
what's the question?
How are you going to solve the law and order?
What's the question?
So the question is, how are you going to solve this?
Go on then. I'm listening, Dr.
Well, I just said, if the police can't handle it, you send the army.
Yeah, but you don't need to send the army, do you? You just need a proper backup. We've got plenty of
That's what I said to him. That's what I said to
Roger.
Roger.
Very, very fully trained, all right?
Yeah, the police should be like the, be able to.
Well, I mean,
Send us what?
they can go do it if they can do it with Leeds Football Club. Of course, they can handle that. They've got the police that can handle that sort of thing.
yeah. Well, then somebody needs, like this new government, to get the police to do their job properly there. Why there was no tear gas?
That's it.
Why there were no
exactly it.
coppers with batons walking around? I don't know.
Well, the total head of the police is Mark Rowley, isn't it?
He's the Met.
No, but overall, the Met chief is the chief of all the police.
That is basically correct. It's not 100%.
It's not 100%.
He's the most senior police officer.
97.4%.
He's the most senior police officer in the country, and certainly, if there were major problems.
Well, if he's in charge of Leeds, then after all the two-tier policing here and the rest, maybe he should resign.
Well, no,
there's a lot of people pushing for that. Actually, there's a
West
petition
Yorkshire.
going on at the moment.
Oh.
So, what do you think the solution is, Paul?
I think that is nasty. I think it's a democratic country, and we just had all the vote and the local votes. I think we should sit behind the table, discuss it with the people in authority, respectful authority, by the way, and then let's see where we go from there.
Roger.
Okay. Well, thank you for your call.
Thank you, there, Paul. James in Cheshire.
Hi,
wait for it. You're through to Roger. Roger.
Hello.
No, it's James.
No, he's Roger. You're going to talk. This section, have we not been watching? This is Ask Roger.
What's your question?
You understand? You're through to Roger. Let's start again. We'll let it go. You're James in Cheshire. You're through to Roger.
What happened in Leeds last night? I mean, I'm not surprised by it in the slightest, to be perfectly honest with you.
You should have told us.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I mean, Enoch Powell warned what would happen if we allowed too many people from different cultures into the country. You will get this sort of stuff. You can't integrate certain races into Western society.
It's not racist, though, is it? It's just people from different cultures. It's not really about what... There's white people, there's all different... who don't have the same, like against gay laws, that we used to have in this country and things like that.
Did you say gay laws or gay law?
Yeah, where it's compulsory.
So what's the question, James?
The gay laws, yeah.
Gay laws,
Well,
gay
I-
laws.
There used to be an Indian called the Gay Lord in Birmingham.
James, what's your question, please?
Well, basically, I don't think multiculturalism works, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's not
I
a
think
question.
we're a tribal species.
That's an
and,
answer.
So what's the question?
No, I just rung up to say that I don't think...
But this is the Ask Roger section.
No, I rung up ages ago. They've just rung me back now. I rung up about 2
Well, you could have thought of one. All right. Well, maybe I don't know what to do here, really.
Do you know my favourite bit of this? But so I gave my earpiece to Anna McGovern, so I can't hear what the callers are saying. I can just hear what's going on in the studio, and all I can hear is, "What's the question?" Well, I don't know. If you don't know what the question is, I don't bloody know it.
All right. Well, thank you for your call,
Thanks,
James.
yeah, that's a good way of getting out. Let's go to Lee in Croydon. Lee, what's your query through to Dr. Roger Gifford? What's your question? There you go.
The question is whether you share the same opinion as me, really. They sort of continue to say that they're going to smash the gangs so people can't get over the channel. Now, if you've got 30 people on a boat, they're paying £5,000 each, which accumulates to £150,000. Now, if there was no gangsters on the beaches, the same 30 people could buy an off-board motor for £2,500, a boat for £2,500, and it would cost them £133 to get over it.
So what are you asking? What's the question?
Yeah, ask Roger.
It's sort of basically, do you agree? They say smash the gangs, but if there was no gangs, it'd make it worse.
Well, obviously, if there were no gangs, but they haven't done.
Gangs make it better.
They haven't done a very good job of eliminating the gangs, have they? And I don't know if Labour's going to. They're going to have a new border force and all these other things, but.
No, but if they smash the
We're going to smash the gangs.
How are they going to go to foreign countries and smash these gangs? So they might as well go to Mexico and break up the drug cartels, for goodness sake.
I know, but it's absolutely exactly right. It's sort of embarrassing if they did smash the gangs, which they won't. If they did, it would make the problem worse because people could come across for next to nothing. Then they wouldn't have to pay the £5,000.
Much better value.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that people could organize themselves, to get across.
They sort of navigated.
But what is your question?
So at least the gangs
come on.
kick the price up.
Someone must have a bloody question.
Have you got a question?
I can't hear. I'm sorry. What's your question?
Speak up, Lee.
Right, hold on, sorry. I was just wondering if
you were hands-free, weren't you?
If they did smash the gangs, it would just make things worse.
No.
So your question is, if they smashed the gangs, would it make things worse?
You've made Roger have to ask him your
Right.
question.
No, I think it would make things better, because if the gangs were gone, I don't think these kind of illegal migrants coming over here would be able to organize themselves to get here the way they're getting here now.
You can't get rid of gangs anyway, because other gangs just take
And you
the
can't
place.
get rid of the gangs because they're in other countries. We have no jurisdiction there. But thank you for your call. Who's next?
We're going to go to a little break, aren't we?
Oh, we're going to
break. Okay, you're back with Talk. It's me and Andre, at Andre JP Walker, at Virtual Ash, most importantly. But really important right now, it's Ask Roger. So we're going to go to Jerry in Burton-on-Trent. You're through to Dr. Roger Gavolb, Anna McGovern of Australia's, of AndreWalker.com, Mrs. PA, and taking shorthand notes. And anyway, let's get right to it, Jerry. You're through to Dr. Roger. What's your question, Dr. Roger?
Good morning, guys. I'd like to ask Roger if he thinks there'll be a fair election with the, I think you call them mail-in ballots in the States. And because of the COVID situation, where I gather many of the rules will relax somewhat in the favour of the Democrats, does he consider that the system this time will be more rigorous, less flexible than it was previously, and does he think the election will be fair?
I think the election will be fairer this time, yeah. I think it will be more rigid. I think we've seen enough evidence that things were perhaps not as they should have been last time. And, given everything in recent events and all the conspiracy theories flying around and all the unanswered questions, I think things will be a lot more rigorous and a lot more under observation.
Do you think it may vary between the states on how fair it's likely to be?
Absolutely, of course.
Oh, that's interesting. And have you ever done a mail-in ballot? Do they ask quite?
Have I ever
done a mail-in ballot yourself?
Have you ever done a mail?
Every time I do, yes, of course.
Yeah. And are they rigorous in their sort of authenticity?
Are the mails rigorous?
They're very rigorous in how you obtain the ballot, which is about 4 to 5 feet long of hard cardboard.
More of a matron.
And they're very rigorous in how you put them in the envelope and how you seal it and post it. And it's quite a rigorous and very
stop everyone.
Clever procedure.
Stop everyone. Stop. I just want to say to you, for technical reasons, I can't hear what Jerry's saying. So all I'm hearing is, have you done a mail? Yes, but he was as stiff as a cardboard, and I struggled to get it in the envelope. Right? No, just to be clear, what are we talking about here?
Voting.
Because I don't reckon Roger's done a mail, stiff or otherwise, if I'm being honest.
So it used to be in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a very vigorous procedure.
Vigorous and vigorous.
It depends on the state. I'm sure some are more lax and others more strict. But I think that certainly where I'm from, which is Chicago in Illinois, it's very rigorous, very careful, very professionally done.
Thank you, Jerry. Anyway, we haven't got much time.
So just before we go any further, I just want everyone to know, when you listen and watch this show, that I don't know what the callers are saying. So I'm understanding this in the context of Roger's reply. So Roger says some places are lax, but others are hard with the mail thing.
Who's next?
Cyrus, you did London, the Warriors, the Warriors leader of all the gangs. It's Cyrus in London. You're through to Dr. Roger Gavolb. You're through to Roger. Away you go. Ask Roger.
Good morning, Roger. Sorry.
Good morning.
Roger, good morning. Quick question. If Ukraine joined NATO, would that mean America and Britain would be allowed to put nuclear weapons in Ukraine?
There's an interesting question. I suppose I'm not all that intimately familiar with the NATO Charter, but I think the answer is yes.
Isn't that one?
But I think it would have to be with a fairly unanimous vote of all the NATO countries.
Yeah.
Right. Which would be, in the Cold War, that would be a yes. Because I was thinking, I mean, there's no winners in the nuclear race. But
Anna, what's your view on this?
Well, I think as Roger said, I wouldn't say I'm overly familiar with the NATO summit. I think you would probably be more at place.
Should go to the NATO manual first and check it was all right.
I'll find out. I'll find out for you.
I'm pretty sure it would require probably a lot more than a majority of NATO countries to do that.
Hang on. Can I ask everyone this? Is the question whether you can invoke Article 5 on your own?
No.
But Roger, can I ask something? Can I ask Roger something? Would it be fair after the Americans kicked off in '63 at the Cuban Missile Crisis? Wouldn't Putin have a point?
Of course.
No, Dr. Roger. Let's ask Roger.
Well, I mean, would Putin have a point as Kennedy had a point? Is the question from Asher Gould?
Yeah.
And well, I mean, look, Putin has had a point for a long time as NATO and the EU extended eastward. And I'm reminded of a memo that I saw some weeks ago, which was released, as an ancient document that is now free to be seen, from James Baker, who was the Secretary of the State in the 90s, to another State Department official, and he said, now that the two Germanys are reuniting, just make sure that not a single NATO forces member looks 1 inch to the east, because you will upset the Russian
Set the speed to 1.5. Thanks, Roger. Let's go to PJ in London.
Oh.
You're through to Roger. We've only got a couple of minutes. What's your question for Roger?
He's such a sexy man.
Dr. Roger, yeah, I know. That's why we got the close-up of him.
Sorry?
But did you have a question of how he maintains...
a sexy man.
Yeah, but was your question about how he maintains it at his age? Because he's older than Trump and Biden.
I'm sure he can maintain it.
Combined.
What's your question?
Question, PJ. Let's go to Margaret in Bedford. Margaret, what's your question for Roger?
Yeah, Dr. Roger, it seemed that when Trump...
Hold on, this is Margaret again. Can you... 2 bites of Roger's cherry? All right, then, go on, Margaret, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It seems that when Trump was president, that Putin and Trump had like a perceptive of a working, semi-working relationship of cooperation. Does he think that if Trump gets in again, that will take up again? Or is Ukraine just too deep of a chasm now for that relationship to continue or improve?
The answer is yes and no. I think they will have that relationship again, and I don't think things have gone so far in Ukraine that Trump won't be able to work it out with Putin. As he said, he'll settle that war with a phone call.
What do you think, Anna? Is Roger right?
You know what? I trust him on everything on these topics.
But not this. Even though this is called Roger, do you mind if I throw out an answer to this on what President Trump said last night about solving wars very, very quickly? I genuinely believe that it's going to be incredibly easy for him simply because he's got the strength. That I can solve a war by picking up the phone is what he did to Kim Jong-un. I'm sure Roger will agree. Listen, we've both got a red button rocket man, but mine works and yours doesn't.
That's not what it's about. Let me very quickly, before we go, tell you the answer. With Putin, with Gaza, with the Labour Party, however crazy they get, Trump is going to go and make a deal with them and make them happy and make them his friend, just like he did with Kim.
And they also scared him. They don't know what he's going to do next.
That too. Yeah. But rather than shake his fist at them, he's going to make them his friend.
Margaret, thank you very much. I can't hear, so we're going to return to the studio. I will say one thing. So thank you so much to Dr. Roger, who's taken your calls. And look, We're going to regular segments. Really appreciate it. You know, we have a bit of a laugh with him and take the mick out of him.
Thanks to his intern Anna as well.
Oh yeah,
we take the mick out of him for being a bit old and whatever. But you know, the guy has been a major.
Only you do that. Actually.
A major leader in British economics. He's somebody who's a highly effective academic. I have to say to you, do you know the obvious solution for Putin? The obvious solution for Trump is to say, you've taken as much as you can, Putin. We're going to draw a line now. What is left of Ukraine joins NATO. The territories that Putin has taken will become Russia.
Remember his book, The Art of the Deal.
Yes. Yeah. Here's my question before we go, because I want to do one final Ask Roger question, and it's this. I was on the phone to my father today, and everybody knows, I mention him regularly, how much I consult him on absolutely everything. He said, there is a real danger in this world to Donald Trump not winning the election. I think last time Donald Trump was somebody who was an amusing option, you know, and somebody who did, but I feel now, if he doesn't win, we are sliding towards World War III. We need that strength.
But it's the only way to stop him, to assassinate him now. That's
not
the only
only
way.
are we sliding towards World War III, we're sliding towards World War III without the USA and its allies being able to defend themselves properly. Your father is absolutely right. He's a wise man.
They're nuclear power, though. How can they not defend themselves properly?
Because people know we won't use any of this stuff.
Trump is the hero that we need.
I agree.
It'd be terrifying if Biden got into power again.
But the only way to stop Trump now is to assassinate him, I would say.
My father believes, and I agree with him, that the re-election of Joe Biden is now so dangerous to the Western world that actually it virtually guarantees a World War III, simply because...
And move on, and Nigel's the only one that's repairing it. I'm sure